Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to our channel, and thanks for logging on. Today we continue our journey through the collection of the manufacturer de Bethune with a sensational complication from the DB28 collection. This is the de Bethune DB28 Tourbillon Deadbeat seconds. A model originally launched in the form you see here back in 2013. It incorporates a number of proprietary and patented technologies in a grade 5 titanium high polish 45mm vessel equipped with the company's signature variable geometry spring-loaded floating lugs. On my 16cm circumference wrist, you can see the folks at de Bethune essentially created a watch that is large in charge and yet comfortable even on a smaller forearm like mine. You can be both grand and graceful at the same time. Now the watch is relatively slim, all things considered, 5-day power reserve, deadbeat seconds, and a tourbillon. The watch is only 12.5mm thick, which means it's effectively as thin as a Rolex Daytona. If you can wear that with a cuff, you can wear this with a cuff. Now lug to lug, there are probably two ways to describe this watch. It could be as narrow as 53 if your wrist is relatively smaller, or it can be as broad as 58 lug to lug. And there is a second set of lugs that can be fitted for those with smaller wrist to make the fit even better for those who are truly slight of forearm like myself. So two sizes of lugs interchangeable at the factory and available on request. The timepiece has a broad stance. If you actually measure the spacing between the lugs, it's 26mm, so it has a nice proportional look. It's as squared off and stanced as it is grand on the dial side. And the watch does have a shipping strap fitted. This is actually a prototype piece, and the strap that's fitted is purely for shipping. It's tougher to ship alligator, therefore calfskin is fitted. The factory fitment, of course, is alligator on both sides, the highest grade. The watch is fitted with a matching grade 5 titanium buckle that actually recapitulates the design of the lugs themselves, so there's a handsome design parallelism. The lugs are nicely executed, and as you can see, sculptural, slightly evacuated, and gossamer. They have a grace to them that is all their own and distinctive of the brand. The crown is a screw-down type, and you can see it's a bullhead. You wind at the top of the dial, and it features a double knurling that makes it a pleasure to use. You will not have to exercise winding effort on a frequent basis, as the watch can run for 5 days in spite of doubling up on power-intensive complications. On the dial side, you can see the real deal. A guilloche cut, stylized, silvered toroidal hour track outboard that allows you to trace the deadbeat seconds, yes, and note they're always perfectly aligned, but also the hours and the minutes. Now, the mechanism that controls the deadbeat seconds was a de Bethune patent from 2011, and it's present and correct here. You can see a very widely stanced anchor and a separate escapement that operates at 1 Hz, visible through the skeletonized bridge just above the barrel bridge. And it's a wonderful thing to hold against the ear because it has 2 heartbeats. The tourbillon at 10 beats per second, that is 5 Hz, and then you have the escapement at 1 Hz. Now the tourbillon is a special piece. As you can see, there's a lot going on here. First, it's operating at twice the speed of a conventional tourbillon regulator, which circulates at 60 seconds per circuit. This one makes a circuit in 30 seconds, so it's more animated, more exciting to watch. It also has a beat rate of 36,000 vibrations per hour, a little bit like a Zenithal Primero. So against the ear, you can hear that 10 beat per second alongside the escapement for the deadbeat. Now down at 6 o'clock, you can't see it because it only becomes visible when you reach the end of the manual wind 5-day power reserve, but there is a power reserve indicator and it will turn red down at 6 o'clock as you exhaust the reserve de marche. Reserve de marche, or the autonomy of the watch, stored in 2 barrels, self-regulating with a decoupler system, so you can't manually overwind them and break the mainspring barrels. One spring will slip to relieve pressure. 5 days of autonomy, and of course, that's not all. The escapement, featuring a remarkable silicone escape wheel, you can see it just underneath my finger, of de Bethune's own design, and then the hairspring, also of their design. The balance, a combination of silicone, thermally static, with a white gold rim for maximum outboard mass. A wonderful combination of compounded innovations. So it's their own hairspring, which beats concentrically in any orientation. It's their own escapement, which minimizes friction at the escapement and the escape wheel. It is their own balance, which is thermally stable in any temperature range, as well as aerodynamic. All of that with their own hairspring. So you've got a watch that quite literally is almost like a catalog of innovations. Now the timepiece is beautiful. You don't need to know anything about the caliber 2119, one of 27 in-house calibers by this manufacturer, to know that this is a beautiful timepiece with incredible dial depth. If you look at it from any orientation, you can see to good effect that this is a horological safari. It's almost like peering into the canopy of a rainforest, such as the depth, the combination of colors, textures, tones, and materials. This is good old-fashioned French-Swiss watch valley finishing at its finest. You will find black polish in this movement. You will find Côte de Bethune, which is essentially Côte de Genève, but rendered a bit more artistically with an abrasive wheel. You will find satin graining and black polishing of not just static components such as bridges and plates, but also functional components such as the index at the end of the tourbillon. This is a timepiece that satisfies both the urge for the avant-garde and the respect for tradition.